Good morning, brothers and sisters. I'd like to present to you the seventh part of this, How God Made the Stars. This is Book 1, The Redeemer, Chapter 1, The Branch, and Part 3, Arcturus, the King is Coming. This is the brightest star, and its name means is coming. It's one of the three constellations mentioned in Job 9 and 9. Job is the oldest book in the Bible, written even before the book of Genesis. This constellation shows Jesus as a man walking rapidly with a spear in his right hand and a sickle in his left hand. The Greeks called him Bootis, from the Hebrew root bo, meaning the coming. Bo is used in Psalms 96:13. For he cometh to judge the earth. He shall judge the world with righteousness, and the people with his truth. The ancient Egyptians called him Smat, which means one who rules, subdues, and governs. They also called him Ba, which is like Bo in Hebrew, which also means the coming one. The star in the spearhead is named Arcturus, which means the branch, treading underfoot. The star just below the waist on his right side is called Mirak, or Mizar, or Izar. Mirak means the coming forth as an arrow. Mizar, or Izar, means the preserver, guarding. The star is called Mufrid, who separates. And I will pour upon the house of David and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem the spirit of grace and of supplications. And they shall look upon me whom they have pierced, and they shall mourn for him as one mourneth for his only son, and shall be in bitterness to him as one that is in bitterness of his firstborn. Zechariah 12:10. The star in the head is named Nekar, which means pierced, which tells us that this coming judge is the one who was pierced. Another Hebrew name is Merga, who bruises. And that brings us back to Genesis 3:15. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Genesis 3:15. The first chapter of Book 1, The Redeemer, shows us the promised seed from the beginning to the end, from the birth of the child in Bethlehem to the final coming of the great king, the judge and harvester, to reap the harvest of the earth. This was the vision John saw in Revelation 14:5 and 16, when he says, I looked, and behold a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat like unto the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. And another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, Thrust in thy sickle and reap, for the time is come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. And he that sat on the cloud thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. This is the conclusion of the first chapter of this first book, Virgo, the Virgin. There is the woman whose seed is to bruise the serpent's head, the virgin born, the branch of Jehovah, perfect man and perfect God, Emmanuel, God with us, despised and rejected of men, giving his life that others may have eternal life. He's coming again in triumphant power to judge the earth. This is only one chapter of this first book, but it contains the outline of the whole book, complete in itself in regard to the person of the coming one. Like the book of Genesis, the first chapter in the stars contains the whole message. The rest of the book being merely the development of many great details which are included and shut up within it. It is only one chapter out of 12, but it distinctly foreshadows the end, even the sufferings of Christ and the glory which should follow. This completes the first chapter, the branch. Let me take this opportunity to share with you my new book, Melchizedek's Order. Hebrews 7:4 says, Now consider how great this man was, unto whom even the patriarch Abraham gave the tenth of the spoils. Just consider what a great man Melchizedek was. Hebrews 5:11 says, But we have a great many things to say about him, hard to be uttered, because you are dull of hearing. Melchizedek is only mentioned twice in the Old Testament. Abram met him after the Battle of the Kings. Then he's mentioned again in Psalms, saying he has a continuing priesthood. In Hebrews, it is said he is immortal, with the highest status of all. An immortal, without father, without mother, without descent, having neither a beginning of days nor end of life. The ministry of Melchizedek provides the hope of life and salvation, wells of grace to find eternal life. What is Melchizedek's order? In order, he is the 10th king mentioned in the Bible, the king of righteousness and the king of peace. Melchizedek commands or orders everlasting life. Melchizedek's order. Melchizedek is a priestly order under which Jesus Christ is a continuing priest. Jesus Christ established Melchizedek's order in the church through the spiritual gifts and the fivefold ascension gift ministry. Read the rest of the story. Are you ready to hear the rest?